Welcome to the No Spin Dash Zone. I'm your host, Steven, and today I'm joined by Isaiah
Hello.
and Charlie.
Ah,
We played Sonic Drift and Sonic Drift 2. They didn't come out directly one after another. They actually, I believe they came out exactly a year apart. It's like March 1994 to March 1995.
the point is, they both suck, and we're gonna talk about both in the same episode. Let's
Oh,
begin.
man. This is going to be an interesting episode
All
already.
right, so I'm really gonna dive headfirst in this pile of meat. Okay.
Go for
Pile of meat?
So you know how like Super Mario Kart had like mode 7, and you like drove and
Oh,
you could
boy.
like see
We're
everything.
back on
The
this.
return of Mode 7.
Sonic
Oh, it
Drift
never
is
was,
like
baby.
that, but it's 8-bit. There's no Mode 7, and it's, I kind of wish I played Mach Rider by now, because maybe I'd probably have a better perspective on, like, 8-bit racing games like this, because it's, like, it's a weird game to control.
Yeah, it feels
Yeah.
real bad. It feels real
It's
bad.
it's a little
Granted-
silly.
The second one is a bit of an improvement.
Well, I've got a question for you, Charlie.
Okay.
Did you try holding down the B button while accelerating?
Like, holding A and B together.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the
So-
drift button. That's
Yeah.
how you drift in Sonic Drift.
I didn't.
So can-
I didn't do that until I started playing game 2.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure you can't do it in game 1.
You can. I tried it just
You
at
can.
the beginning of. Yeah, that was what I needed to try before the episode started.
All right. I actually had tried it, and I guess I must have missed the
It
B button,
feels
'cause it didn't
different in the first game, but there are turns. There are hairpin turns where if you're just holding right and not accelerating, you still cannot make the turn without drifting. So.
It feels like
Yeah,
there's no
that-
physics. Everything just kind of happens. Vaguely remember landmarks in this game.
Yeah, well, and also, like, it'll look like you're pointed in a direction, and that direction isn't an obstacle, but then when a turn comes up, that obstacle you'll just be pushed into the obstacle. Like,
Yeah.
the way taking turns works in this game isn't that, in a 3D game where you're going straight and then you adjust for it. It's effectively when there's a right turn, the camera just pans to the right, and you have to try and, like, move against it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more like
It's like a conveyor
like a-
belt.
excuse me. It's like one of those like rails games where when you're moving forward, you can like sort of drift to the left or right, but you can't change the actual direction that you're moving.
Would you say it's like Rails Sky Patrol?
Rails, that's a good bit, but no. It's like I guess
Sorry.
it's like Sonic and the Secret Rings, right? Where you're moving in one direction, and then you can tilt to the left or the right. You can strafe, that's the word. You can strafe in one direction or the other. And where that gets wonky is when actual turns come up, you just have to like be on the side of the road that you're turning into, while the game tries to push you into the side of the road that you're turning away from.
Yeah, but if you hit the drift button, it's not really drifting, it's basically just like asking for control from the game. Because then you can just actually move quickly from left to right to get out of the way of things or to try and hit the power-ups, which you will need the power-ups to win because the enemies are broken.
The enemies are absolutely broken.
They're not that
there's a
bad.
very weird thing in Drift 1 where all of the obstacles are like just outside of the road, and all of the interesting things are in the dead center of the road. So
Yeah.
you always want to be as close to the center of the road as possible, and during turns, that's just not something you can do.
And
Well, if you let up on the gas, it's a little more doable.
That's true. Yeah, the slower you're going, the easier you can control the turns,
here's
which
like
ironically keeps you from slowing down as much.
here's another thing. You can't like drift for like more than like 2 seconds before you just slip out of control. Like, it's worse than like if you try drifting in Mario Kart 64, which
Yeah.
'cause I don't even think Super Mario Kart has like a drifting penalty. But if you it's so precise and so short that you wouldn't even expect it to screw you up, and does it
Yeah,
make
it's
you
like
lose
spin
rings?
out super fast. Spinning out?
Yeah.
I think it
No,
just
I don't think
sends
so.
you. It just sends you into the wall, which like that'll likely make you lose rings if you're, anywhere near an obstacle.
Yeah.
Rings are
There's a lot of obstacles as well.
Rings are a lot harder to get in the first.
They're much harder to get, and they're like a little. Can you do the boost thing in the first game where you hit up to boost?
Yeah, you can.
I think that's just for Sonic, isn't it?
I know in the second game. Well, in the second game they all have unique powers, but we'll get to that later.
But I think
in
they
this
have
game,
unique powers in the first one because Amy still has like some kind of heart thing.
Okay, I never played as anyone besides Sonic because while I was playing, I did play as Tails for a little bit, but while I was playing as Tails, I noticed that Sonic was in the lead always, and that Eggman was always in second. So I was like, if I pick Sonic, am I just fighting easier AI? And I think I was.
Yeah, I think, well, because it's clear to me that all of the characters have very slightly different stats, because they have different acceleration. I played as Sonic, Eggman, and Tails. No love for Amy, sorry Amy.
That's okay,
and
I played as Amy.
They all clearly had different levels of acceleration, because, like, while playing as Sonic, I would never go from being in first to being in last within the first few seconds. But when playing as Eggman, who apparently just had really slow acceleration, that was the norm, and I would, like, catch up later. I would get faster than them, but the acceleration was very slow.
Yeah, I don't know. I always noticed that like Sonic was in first and Eggman was in second, and when I picked Sonic, Eggman was in first. Eggman was in first if I wasn't. Obviously.
It's a rival system, an automatic rival system, which is something that Super Mario Kart also has.
It's very clear that like these characters each have like a very specific like difficulty. Like Eggman, like Sonic and Eggman are clearly the hardest, and Amy has never gotten anything other than last. Like. I don't know. Maybe
Until
if you're playing as her, she does a
later
little better.
on.
Yeah.
Well, when you play later on, she gets third because oh man.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this game is hard. Not the least of which because it's very difficult to figure out how to play and control.
So, controls aside, presentation on this game, I do like the character choice because it's basically just like the Sonic CD characters.
Yeah.
Which I believe at the time was like the current game.
Mhm.
So that would have been 93. Yeah, it came out in 94, but it came out in March 94. So Sonic the Hedgehog 3 had just come out before Sonic Drift came out, so it was probably in development at the same time. I do like the character choice.
Yeah, it's especially interesting because this is the first Sonic game, I'm pretty sure. This is the first Sonic game where you actually can play as Eggman.
That would be it. So that's neat that you get to be a bad guy. You also get to be Metal Sonic. That's next game.
Yeah, in Drift 2 you can actually... Drift 2, maybe we should save this until we get to Drift 2.
We're pretty much getting there, but basically what I wanted to say about the presentation was that every level is the same. The art assets aren't that great. The only part that I really like... Oh, when I say that all the levels are the same, I mean between the different, like, cups. GPs or whatever, the cups. Yeah, they call them emeralds. There's like green, yellow, and red emerald, and they each have the same levels. There's just different layouts, so you hear the same music and you see the same like art in the background. I think there's like some slightly different like cool stuff in the last cup that sets it apart from just the regular boring level designs, but I can't remember really well.
I couldn't get myself through the second run, and I just stopped.
Yeah, it's not fun.
Yeah, level design wise, all of the stages in Sonic Drift are like very similar.
Yeah,
like,
there's nothing turns.
There's nothing there. Yeah, it really is just turns.
Aside from like character selection, the only like notably interesting thing is that the invincibility theme is the invincibility theme from Sonic.
Yeah.
And then for Drift 2, it has the invincibility theme from Sonic 3.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
I also like the music in general. The stages in this game are mostly based on stages from the original Sonic, I think.
Yeah, they're literally like the same stage order.
Yeah, so it's Green Hill, Marble, Spring Yard, Labyrinth, Starlight, and Scrap Brain.
Yeah, but the music is different. It's like completely different music, and I really like the music in the first Drift game.
You have a keen eye for like these 8-bit games because I couldn't give a shit about them. You're like, wow, this sounds really cool. I'm like, does it?
Well, are you guys playing in headphones?
No. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm the guy who's not using computer emulators. My friend Charlie uses the GameCube, and he's dumb for doing that.
You know you can get like audio out. Well, Never mind. Don't
I
worry
don't
about it.
care. I like playing
hold
on
on.
my GameCube because I don't have to download crap I don't want to download.
Were you? I just real quick. I know this.
So
isn't
yeah, for
what
the
you're
record,
saying, but
I played Sonic Drift 1 on Sonic Adventure DX, and then I played Drift 2 on Gems Collection. Just so we're
That's
clear.
on Sonic Adventure DX.
Yeah, because you
Yeah,
can play
a bunch of
GameCube
the-
games on the original one. Don't you love it when you could
Yeah.
like buy a GameCube game and play old games on it, like Animal Crossing could? Oh my god, it's a freaking miracle! But now you gotta pay for subscription. Oh my god, I'm really sorry. I can't.
Charlie,
I can't.
you're so angry right now that I don't know what you're angry about.
I'm
and I love
angry
it.
about like you guys being, or at least Steven giving me sass for playing something on a GameCube.
I'm not giving you sass. I'm just letting you know that like the songs sound better when you put them in headphones.
Well, I'm
The
sure
song-
they
okay.
do, but like,
I do.
If
I
I
do want to
can't,
push
like-
back against that though, because this is a Game Gear game. So statistically speaking, these songs were not made to be listened to in headphones. They were made.
does
made
it
to
have
be
a headphone?
blasted
Does the
through-
GameCube have a headphone jack?
I'm looking that up right now
Yeah.
because Isaiah's like making a bold claim.
I
But
mean,
if that thing has a headphone jack, then they were definitely meant to be listened to.
Here's
as
the
headphones.
I'm going
though.
down.
Here's the thing, though. You could
Well, okay.
You can play. If I wouldn't like listen to the soundtrack of the game, if I wasn't already like entranced by it the first time I played it.
Entranced.
Well, you know, because
So-
like I played Pokemon Diamond or played Pokemon Yellow, I'm like, wow, this soundtrack is pretty good. But I played almost any other Pokemon game, I'm like, nah, I don't really care for this. I never really listened to the soundtrack for it, except for a few select songs.
So I would have to imagine these songs were written for the speaker quality of the device they play on, which
Yeah.
might be headphones, but it might also be the Game Gear and whatever the heck kind of speaker quality the Game Gear has.
Okay, so this is what I've realized kind of about Game Gear music versus like NES music.
Yeah.
There's like a lot more going on, and it gets a little disorienting, which is probably why I don't care for Game Gear music compared to NES music. Just a thought.
Yeah, it can get really busy. I feel you on that. The same is true for Genesis music.
Yeah, well, I think so. For oh, hold up, somebody's knocking at my door. It's probably just the pizza person. Whatever.
You got pizza and you didn't tell us?
I mean, I'm not getting pizza.
You got
somebody else is
pizza and
getting
you didn't
pizza.
tell us? Why are you holding back?
Do you want some of my pizza?
If you would buy me a pizza, that'd be nice.
Well, too bad it's mine, and also it's not mine. It's somebody else's.
Charlie,
I'm sorry,
I
I
think
got
we need to kick
completely
Isaiah off the
mind-flooded.
podcast. He's not sharing his pizza with us.
I got completely mind flooded. What was I saying?
I
Something
don't know.
about Genesis music or Game Gear music, NES music. Wow.
Oh yeah, the thing about like Nintendo's NES music, like Koji Kondo or whatever, is that like
Is that Mega Man?
it's very like yeah, Mega Man, Koji Kondo, the guy who no, it's Super Mario Bros. and other Nintendo whatever. Is that like a lot of it is very like the notes that aren't the melody like contribute to the chords. You know, it's all every note is very purposeful, partially because it has to be, right? But with Game Gear music, a lot of it is okay. Well, we have this note that we're just going to use it to echo the other note because it doesn't matter. It's not important.
Well,
I
that's
think-
just choosing like a reverb as opposed to a chord.
Yeah, and I think a part of that is like the reverb will get cut out when sound effects are played. So if you make it less important, then it doesn't matter when it's gone. Whereas in Nintendo games, the chord is gone, and so the song feels a lot emptier.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's not a perfect observation, but it's what I've noticed in comparing the two, in why I like one more than the other.
I mean, I don't notice the music cutting out as much in Game Gear games as I do in Genesis games, especially since they're just lighter on sound effects in general, usually.
Yeah, that's definitely
There's
true.
like a lot less going on. But I like this game's music, especially I really like Green Hill Zone, and I like the kind of menu themes that come before the game starts. I think that they're like exciting and they make you have fun before you started playing the game, because God knows you won't have
Exciting
any
is
afterwards.
definitely true. Oh god.
There's-
I don't know.
there's
I really like actually the music of both of the games. Like I feel like they're both pretty good at being exciting, like genuinely.
I think
Go
there's a lot less like cool stuff in the second soundtrack. They're both pleasant enough, but I think that the first one features like a neat little kind of, I don't know how to describe it, but there's a little bit of a mood that it has that not many Sonic games do that feels kind of like interesting. I don't know, it's weird.
Yeah. I kind of feel like neither of them are particularly memorable. Like nothing really stands out in retrospect but they're both like serviceable. Like they do their job pretty well.
I listened to every song from both games, and the second game, I think its issue is that a lot of the music sounds like it's like not happy. Like a lot of the music just kind of sounds dumpy and a little bit like the person writing it wanted to make something that was uncomfortable, whereas a lot of music in the first game sounds like they wanted to make something that would make you feel like powerful. And I think that Sonic music in general...
That's a pretty big difference.
Sonic music in general, I think, is designed more like just dance music, where it's supposed to be like interesting to hear.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And I don't necessarily mean like EDM, because I talk about that a lot, but I mean kind of like some of it is like swingy and some of it is jazzy, and some of it is like drum and bassy.
I just can't stand it. It's too big for the system that it's on, because it probably could be better if like it wasn't 8-bit.
Yeah, if they had like 3 more audio channels.
I think we should start shifting focus on the sequel game now, right?
Yeah, Sonic Drift 2.
Where we get...
I think
What?
with the... What?
No, go, say something!
Jesus. I think with the potential exception of music, Sonic Drift 2 is an improvement in every way.
Oh,
to
100%.
Sonic Drift 1.
Yeah. It's a really...
Like, it's so much of a better game that I went back and played Sonic Drift 1 and somehow liked it more the second time around as a result of having played Sonic Drift 2. I have no idea how that happened, but it did.
It's like when you play like a new Street Fighter, and then you're like, oh, this is really fun. I wonder if the old game was anything like this, and you play it, and you're like, it's not, but I remember the fun.
Yeah. So, first of all, there's a lot more characters in Drift 2.
3 more, in fact.
There is every character that's been playable in a Sonic game. Like,
yeah, all 3 of them.
Yeah, plus every character that hasn't been playable in a Sonic game.
Yeah, so there's Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy, Eggman, and now this time we have Metal Sonic and Fang.
We didn't have Knuckles in the last game.
Yeah, we didn't have Knuckles before.
Yeah, we didn't have Knuckles in the last game, but Sonic, Tails, Knuckles are the playable trio that comes to mind when you think of playable Sonic characters. So
yeah, we also don't have Mighty and Ray, which is unfortunate, but those 2 were dropped. So
yeah, they're gonna come back in about 20 years. Don't worry.
Well, except for Archie, but
Archie? What?
Archie
the comics.
is not
I see.
a video game.
I was like, who's Archie?
You know,
you always
Archibald.
You can only respond to the word comics. Archie does not split that switch.
Don't
Well,
you
if
know
you say
about Archie
Archie
the Eagle?
Yeah, Archie the Anteater.
Archie. Yeah, dude, the iconic Sonic the Hedgehog character,
Archie the
Archibald.
Anteater.
Yeah, remember when All in the Family was in Sonic the Hedgehog?
Yeah, do you remember when
do
Family
you guys remember
Matters
Jaleel White?
I said Family Matters as soon
Are we gonna?
Oh,
okay, I'm not. Never mind. Okay.
Sonic Drift 2 has much better controls. It's a lot easier to stay in the lines.
Oh, so much better
Drift
controls.
button feels a lot better.
I mean, the drifting still has that.
So
that,
you
like,
actually have video. You have like video and auditory feedback when you drift. Like in the first game, it's hard to tell that drifting is a mechanic because
it just makes you turn better and then spins you out if you hold it too long.
Yeah. Whereas in Drift 2, you actually have unique like images of your dude turning as much as physically possible.
Yeah, it's really cool because sometimes
as well as another sound effect.
I think sometimes they go fully to the left or right, so you can see like a sort of profile shot of your character, which is neat.
Yeah, it is very cool looking as
well.
But
Charlie, what I found to help with the spinning out issue is if you just tap drift, you can get pretty much all the turning that you need for everything besides a hairpin turn.
I can confirm that.
So I think what they want you to do is like drift for a little bit and then let up on the gas and then hold gas again and drift for a little bit and sort of like make your way around stuff like that.
So the other thing is your control when strafing in the straight line, Sonic and the Secret Ring style, is greatly increased. Which is good because now there's actually stuff in the road aside from the dead center, so it actually pays to want to be in other places in the road.
Yeah, I actually didn't like that very much. I felt that some of the stages were very, very dense with stuff. There's balloon something.
Oh yeah, freaking balloon whatever is a little ridiculous.
Yeah, the balloon temple or whatever. Basically, there's just a bunch of stuff on the road, and it's kind of difficult. I think a lot of it just does the things that the monitors do, where it just bounces you.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. It was weird. It was very confusing. The monitors don't bounce you at all. I don't know why I said that. But the balloons have different colors, and they just do weird different things. There's also a lot more, like, power-ups in this game than there were before. There's, like, a black monitor that lets you set a trap. There's a yellow monitor that
Mhm.
gives you like a holdable jump, like you can like spend it to jump.
Yeah, so all of the monitors, instead of activating their ability immediately, you like hold them, and then you can hit up to use them.
Yeah.
The same way you could hit up to speed up in the last game.
Yeah, which I didn't know
like
at
a lot
all.
more.
I only found out about speeding up because I didn't think to hit the up button after collecting
Absolutely.
3 rings or whatever, because you never get 3 rings in that game anyway.
Yeah, in the first game, you can press up to go fast, and you don't know that, because why would you ever press up?
Well, I did
Like-
press up a little bit, but I didn't do it when I had 3 rings, because like
Yeah.
I
And
never.
in the second game,
Yeah.
in the second game, it makes a lot more sense because you know you have an item to consume, and you know some button has to do that. So you hit buttons until you stumble upon up, which does it,
Yeah.
and then you will eventually find out by proxy of that up is also the do your character's ability button as well.
Yeah, it also helps that you see other characters activating these abilities. Like you'll see Fang like
Oh,
throw
yeah.
like a cork behind him. I think it is. I don't know. I just imagine that
Yeah.
because of his Sonic the Fighter's appearance. But
It's definitely a cork. It looks like a cork.
yeah, Eggman and Knuckles do something similar. Amy can drop her hearts, and then
I think Knuckles
the
just
Sonics-
punches people.
Knuckles punches people.
Yeah.
I thought he threw a rock or something. Maybe
I
I,
don't
was not
think
paying
so. I
enough
think he
attention.
punches.
That's funny
I'm
though.
gonna play as Knuckles right now and find
Amy
out.
throws a hard, Sonic speeds up, and
Also,
Metal Sonic
real
also
quick,
speeds up.
Knuckles in this game is spelled Knuckles.
yeah,
there's
no
no-
K.
there's only-
No second K.
Yeah, it's Knuckles.
Maybe they just didn't have enough money to pay for the last letter.
Yeah, it's definitely a spacing issue because if you look at his writing, his font is like half the size of everybody else's because everybody has a much shorter name.
Yeah.
So they just couldn't fit the K in there, and they were like, hope nobody notices. Also, Knuckles' ability is that he can hop, he can jump.
Oh,
So
maybe
I
Computer
presume
Knuckles.
it's the same as Tails.
Well, maybe Computer Knuckles does something else. But it does seem like everyone
don't
kind of shares an ability with another character.
Yeah. Sonic and Metal Sonic both boost. Amy throws out a heart that if you touch it, then you go at half speed for a while,
Yeah,
which I find interesting.
I think Amy's the only unique one. She's the like outlier.
Also, the like CPU AI, the other racer AI, is a lot better in this game as well, because now they don't just like hang out perfectly in the center of the road and never make mistakes. They like swerve around and they pick up capsules and then they use them and stuff like that.
Yeah, they feel a lot more like they're present.
Yeah.
The game also feels a lot more lax on. There's a system where if you hit an opponent's bumper, like you spin out and you have to like get your speed again. And that was in the first game, and it's in this game too. But it feels a lot more forgiving in this game, whereas in the first game you pretty much had to either be on the far sides of the road or have a spring like bounce you over the opponent to get ahead of them. And then they can drive through you. They don't like have the same physics that you do. So
Yeah.
it felt really unfair.
It was especially frustrating because they were always in the center of the road, and so it was just difficult to avoid them.
But yeah, it's
So
just
sometimes
inconvenient.
passing them up was just like not something you could do very easily.
Yeah, they felt like more like an obstacle than an opponent. But in this game, they feel much more alive, and also they can finish in different orders. There's not always
Yes.
a set like first place, second place. Usually it's the same, but there are stages that have more curvature and don't have like side rails or anything to like keep you from falling off of the stage, kind of like the ghost houses in Mario Kart.
Yeah.
I feel like
Um,
that specific level. There's a level that's like in darkness. I don't know if it's a cave or like inside of a building or something, but it really
Yeah.
reminded me of the ghost houses from the original Mario Kart.
There's actually a few things that this game does to make levels feel distinct. So there's a few levels where there's no grass, there's no dirt area. If you are off the road, then you just fall and have to be picked back up.
Yeah,
It's,
that's what I was
Dark
talking about.
Valley 1 is the first one that does that, and that's the one that
Yeah.
gives the ghost house vibes. But there's also some levels that have that road sometimes and not in other places, which is very interesting.
Yeah, it's got like an
Most-
F-Zero vibe to it.
Yeah, most interestingly, there's a level that like takes place. It's in the final cup. There's a level that takes place like around an island where you're actually driving on the water. And if you get slowed down too much, you'll fall into the water and have to
Yeah.
be picked back out.
Yeah, that's
That's-
really cool.
that's-
there was one that
It was very cool.
there was an Emerald Hill stage that goes around a lake, And you think that's just some cool map thing, but then you go next to it, and then there's like actually water on the right that you don't want to fall in.
Yeah, and there's like a
Yeah.
beach. Like the terrain turns into a beach. It's really nice.
Also, the last cup is like, it's kind of like a Rainbow Road type thing, but it leads you to the Death Egg, and you can like see it in the background as you
Yeah.
approach.
I
And
thought
then you
that
race
was
Yeah.
the
on the Death
coolest
Egg.
thing.
This game.
So first we gotta mention that a lot of the courses in here, instead of having 3 laps, it's one like very large track that is just linear. Like you start
Yeah.
in one place and you end in another place.
It beat Mario Kart 8.
Second to last, the second to last stage in this game is one of those linear bits where like you find yourself driving directly into the Death Egg, and you can see the Death Egg on the horizon, like get closer, which is very cool. And then the final stage is inside the Death Egg.
Although
So it is.
spatially, it doesn't make sense. 'Cause I think it's just in the background, regardless of where you are.
Yeah,
It actually
really
no.
doesn't.
I was playing through that level a second time to make sure. That level is actually very cool for a lot of reasons. The Death Egg does not appear until you're facing it.
Well, there's
but
a
in
stretch of
addition to that-
road that at the end is straight, and I think that's when you see it.
Yeah, that's the only time that you see that. But in addition to that,
But
there's
that's
a
why
stretch
it
of road
doesn't make
that's-
sense spatially as it, because you would be able to see it from a lot of other places in the level.
Oh yeah, no, that's true. That's true. But so there's another stretch of road which is very interesting, where it's linear and it's about halfway through the map, where you're going straight for way longer than you do normally in the game, and because you're in space, you actually just pass a bunch of planets, and there's like whooshing sound effects that sound whenever you pass by one.
Yeah, the
which-
background in that space level is also really cool because there are stars that are kind of in like the far background, and then there are stars that are in the foreground, and they kind of parallax differently. So it looks like you're like zooming through space because the stars move really quickly when you're turning.
It's a very cool level.
Yeah.
I also really like the. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Charlie.
This game, like, thankfully it's not like the same course, but like different. It kind of takes a Super Mario Kart approach where like you have the same basic stages, but you'll fight them different times, but it's not like the same order every time. You get to see some new ones every now and then. And then also it mixes up with long stretch courses, which is nice.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
really cool. Because
Pretty much all of the long stretch courses were enjoyable,
I also
except for like
I-
balloon whatever.
I didn't like it mechanically, but the tunnel level is really cool because it feels like you're going into tunnels, and the way they do that is really neat.
It reminds me
aesthetically.
of like
The,
driving like out east or out west when you go through a couple of tunnels like at the Appalachian or Rocky Mountains.
Yeah.
It's just like you get to. It's always a fun moment, but then you're like a little sad when it's gone. But you really appreciate just being in that weird darkness.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually-
It's got like a very fun driving vibe to it. I feel like this game captures
Yeah.
driving much better than the first game did.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's very. I even think I kind of liked the tunnel level mechanically, because it's bits where instead of like driving in the dirt off the road slows you down, it's like, oh yeah, you just drive like sort of skidding into the wall, and that slows you down.
Yeah, but if you
but
hit
actually-
the wall on a turn, you get kind of lodged into the wall, and it's very hard to get out, and that was what I did not like.
All right, I'm gonna drive headfirst into a wall in a second so that I can see that experience. Because for the most part, the only issue I had was the wall sometimes turns faster than you. But I
Yeah,
found
that-
that if you tap drift, it sort of mitigates that issue.
Yeah, this level was where I found out about drifting, because I still hadn't been drifting for the whole time, because it didn't, like, hitting the B button did not make any sense to me, because I was like, maybe I can slow down, but it's not slow down, it's just drift. Like, you have to be holding down the accelerator and the B button at the same time to...
Yeah, this is the level that teaches you, if you haven't already figured it out, it teaches you how to drift.
Because, like, try hitting the wall and getting out without drifting, you can't. You just hit it
you
over and
cannot
over
do
again.
it.
So that's what I didn't really like about the level, was that if you get stuck on the wall, it's even with the drifting, it's pretty hard to get out. It feels way more punishing than like even falling off the level did.
I don't know. I don't agree with that. With the like worse than falling off the level, because falling
Well-
off the level takes a long time.
Yeah, but you also accelerate immediately once you get dropped. Like they put you at full
That's
speed.
true. That's true. That's a fair counterpoint.
Whereas with this, it's like not only does it waste your time, but it's also not fun to get out. Like it's kind of fun to get out of the hole because you get back to full speed really quickly. But
Yeah.
another cool stage thing that I wanted to talk about was I think there are 2 different stages that do this. They have like a half pipe where your car will like
Yeah.
be pushed even further to the side, and like you can go up to the top of it and like fall back down and level, and I thought that was really fun to try and add to the 3D aspect of it, even though there's like this game is 100% 2D.
There's a lot of stuff where it's like you kind of have to use your imagination because it's presented in a way that's not perfect. Like you can see through the facade, but like it's still fun anyway.
Yeah.
To try not to see through the facade. The 3D component of it felt like really cool, even though it definitely wasn't perfect.
Yeah, I like the presentation of this game a lot more. There's a lot more unique stuff. Even the balloons level, it's like annoying that there's a bunch of stuff on the road, and it's not the only level that has a bunch of obstacles on the road. But the
it's definitely the worst about it. Balloon Panic is the name of it.
Yeah, Death Egg was pretty terrible.
Yeah, there's also a casino-style one, I think, where there's bumpers in the road, and that one was awful.
Well, see, I liked Death Egg because Death Egg was like, here's like an insane amount of turns in a short span of time. So there's like not a lot of actual obstacles in the road. You just have to be very vigilant about the direction that you're moving. And I found that to be like hectic in an exciting way, you know?
What were you gonna say, Charlie?
Oh yeah, the bumpers in a Casino Night looked like ramps, so I kept running into them.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's very smart.
Also, the ramps, the ramps in actual levels, they're very clearly the ramps. You see enemies go over them, but if you take them on the side, they just like are an obstacle. So it's really weird to try and go for them because you always feel like you're going to get punished for it if you're not perfect.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, I like this game's presentation a lot more. I think that it does a lot better work with the pseudo 3D elements. I think that the character select, having every single Sonic character being playable, is in its own right, like an important aspect of the game.
Yeah. And they all play a little bit differently too, which is very valuable.
Yeah, like even Metal Sonic and Sonic both have a boost, but I believe Metal Sonic can do his with 2 rings and it lasts a little shorter, and Sonic can do his with 3, but it lasts a little longer.
It's the opposite. Metal Sonic takes 3 rings, but it lasts
regular
longer.
Sonic takes 2? Ah, okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember which was which, but it's neat that even though they both have a boost, there are different reasons to pick them.
Absolutely. It's very cool.
It's also neat that, like, so Knuckles jumping, like, Tails jumping makes sense and Knuckles jumping makes a little less sense, but if you think about it, they both have, like, mid-air abilities, and then Eggman and Fang are both, like, mechanical-based bad guys, so it makes sense that they would drop traps and stuff. So even their abilities are kind of cool. And Amy, I don't know, she has a heart, I guess, because...
Amy has a heart because she is the girl.
Yeah, it's her position is unfortunate.
The hammer never got, like, confirmed at this point.
The hammer is the best part of Amy's character, overall.
Absolutely.
We're gonna make it to advanced, though. We'll get there, Charlie, don't worry.
Well, we're gonna
see the hammer a lot earlier than that.
When's the first time Amy gets a hammer?
It's Sonic the Fighters,
Adventure.
I think.
Oh, is it the Fighters?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, well, it's definitely before Adventure, because the Fighters, she has a hammer.
I just forget that Amy had a hammer before she was the redesign. Because she's still in the dress in Fighters.
Also, real quick, Amy's car in this game is alive.
What?
It has like eyes and a mouth. Like look up like the official artwork for like Amy in Sonic Drift. Her car is alive.
It's like the friggin' Dune buggy. What is
no,
that
it's
show
like
called?
it's like the car from Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Herbie? Oh my god, absolutely.
Well, right,
that's
but
what
do you guys remember the what is that talking Dune buggy?
Oh,
it's
Speed
Herbie.
Buggy.
Yeah, not Herbie. That's not a Dune buggy.
No, Speed Buggy. It was
like Charlie's right.
It was a Scooby Doo ripoff.
Yeah, exactly. And they later on like converged with Scooby Doo, right?
Yeah, it was one of the new Scooby movies.
That's
literally what the series is called. I'm not talking about like Zombie Island. It's like
no, you're not talking about the live action.
Famous people had like Batman and Robin had the Three Stooges, or not like the real Three Stooges, like the cartoon, the cartoon Three Stooges. But
yeah, they also had
Don Knotts, Phyllis Diller.
Yeah, Don Knotts. Wasn't a wrestler on there? Wasn't there like a big wrestler on there, like the Undertaker or something?
Johnny Bravo, right?
I don't know if there was a wrestler. I mean, besides like the modern WWE. Anyway.
Oh my God,
Sonic
that's the one
Hedgehog.
where John Cena is in Scooby Doo.
That's right, John Cena was in. Anyway, Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh yeah, Amy's car does definitely have eyes. You were very correct, Charlie.
Yeah.
It looks cool. I like it. It looks like nice.
So we actually haven't addressed the elephant in the room.
No, there's no elephant. Neck is a weasel.
So we actually haven't addressed the weasel in the room.
Don't talk about Charlie that way. Come on, man.
All right.
What do you want to say? Go ahead.
Sonic is in a car.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he's taking a vacation, dude. It's fine.
He's taking it. He's His vacation is still going fast. It's just
Like, yeah, but like, do you
lazier
think
version of
Usain
going
Bolt,
fast.
like, do you think Usain Bolt runs to his like island, like his vacation?
Are you
island?
telling? Okay, first of all, Usain Bolt just has an island.
I don't
It's
know.
his island. I like that idea.
He also
but
probably doesn't drive there because I'd imagine the car would get wet.
Okay, does Usain Bolt take a vacation by going in like go-karts or maybe Formula 1 cars? Does he drive like
Neither of those things are in Sonic Drift. Sonic Drift has convertibles.
convertibles?
Like,
So
everyone's car is a convertible.
Do you
Has to be
think
convertible
people
so you
who
can see the
go
big
fast professionally relax by going fast, like in vehicles instead of using their feet?
I mean, I'm sure
That's
there are
just like a
NASCAR
thing.
drivers that like go to the track when no one's there and drive, and they like that both for practice and just for relaxation. Because there are people who like driving. I'd say. I don't know if you know this or not.
Yeah. Oh, the other thing about Sonic Drift 2 is that there's, I think, 6 courses per cup, and it actually it keeps track of who wins what by attaching like an emerald next to their name.
Yes,
and
yes.
There's a different color for each emerald that corresponds to the levels that they win. So it kind of feels like sort of implicitly whoever wins gets a Chaos Emerald, like as a result.
I mean, I didn't
which-
interpret that as like a metaphorical badge of success. I did interpret that directly as getting an emerald for winning.
Yeah, like yes. But so I just thought that was cool. Like
Yeah, I like it
like
a lot more
just
than.
putting an icon next to their name lets you know that you won, and also like narratively it's like, oh yeah, they get a Chaos Emerald.
It also incentivizes you to like get first every round,
Yeah, absolutely.
which is nice.
Unfortunately, I have not so far successfully done that. I've gotten close. I like got second place in the last race in the cup, and I was like, screw it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's like a bonus or whatever. I imagine there's probably not, but
Another cool thing about the cars, I'm realizing this now, I'm looking at the back of the box, is that Fang the Sniper has a like floating vehicle just like Eggman, but I think it's something that he actually rides in Sonic Triple Trouble,
Yeah,
the game.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure too.
So that's really neat.
Hmm.
And then
that is neat.
Knuckles has like a Jeep, which is funny to me.
Yeah,
And Metal Sonic gets a cool Formula 1 car.
yeah.
Their cars are like really cool. I
Mhm.
like them. I like this game's flavor a lot, even if the mechanics still aren't perfect. Like they're more serviceable, and I think that they're like a nice kind of spoon to get this game's flavor and the levels into your mouth. But other than that, like I think this game, what it really excels at is just offering you like a neat Sonic experience that's just more inclusive of everything in the games.
Yeah.
It's like more easier to.
I also feel like while it is definitely clunky because it's a Game Gear racing game, I like had a lot of fun just playing it.
Yeah, Sonic
like-
2, Sonic Drift 2 for sure.
Yeah.
Sonic Drift 1,
Drift 2
I'm less forgiving of.
Yeah, it's definitely Drift 1 is harder and clunkier and just like a less enjoyable. There's less flavor, and Drift 2 is just all around a much more enjoyable experience.
So Charlie, you were really down on Drift 1, I think even more than Isaiah and I were. How'd you feel about Drift 2 in general?
I mean, it was better, but I'm giving both games a thumbs down.
Damn, we're already there.
Yeah, suck it.
All right. Was there anything else that we wanted to say about the games before we moved on to thumbs?
I just wanted to really reiterate that I think it's really cool that there's a place where you can play as kind of like every Sonic character in the franchise thus
Yeah,
far.
that is
It's
that
the
is pretty
first
cool.
one,
Because
and it's not the last.
even like Sonic the Fighters later, you can fight Eggman, but you can't play as Eggman.
Oh
Yeah. Yeah,
And same for Metal Sonic, I believe.
playing as Eggman and Metal Sonic is like a very cool experience.
Absolutely.
This is the first time that you can ever play as a robot, guys.
Oh yeah, that's true.
There's so many robotic Sonic characters. I'm so excited.
Get hyped for Sonic Adventure. Anyway, let's.
We've already met 3 different iterations of robotic Sonic.
That's unfortunately very true.
Yeah.
I think it maybe would have been better if they stuck with one. They just kept polishing it, but.
Oh no, I'm very glad about Silver Sonic. I like Metal Sonic. I don't know if Mecha Sonic needed to exist.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because Mecha Sonic serves the exact same purpose that Metal Sonic does. It's just that he looks different. Like
He looks
that's the only
he looks
difference.
more intimidating.
Freaking
He
Dragon
definitely
Ball Z
looks more
though.
intimidating.
Like I think Mecha
Well-
Sonic looks more like he's built for destruction, whereas like Metal Sonic seems to be more just a competitor in terms of speed. Like it seems
Yeah, but-
it seems more benevolent, I guess. He's just like trying to prove he's better than Sonic as opposed to kill him, which I think is a neat little character aspect. Like cuz
that also especially, and they run with that in I guess spoilers for Sonic Heroes.
well,
like...
let's wait on that. Cuz that's I consider that a different character pretty much.
Yeah, So this is just one last thing about Mecha Sonic is I was watching a ROM hack of Sonic 3 and Knuckles because I'm friggin' that guy, and they got to the Mecha Sonic fight, and there's a bit that always strikes me is when you defeat him, like he stays on the ground, but he's just like getting like electric shocks all around to show that he's damaged, and there's like this electricity sound effect that plays that instead of being like high pitched is very low, which always, like, whenever I got there, always made me like uncomfortable. Like
Yeah,
alright, he's so powerful that even when he's losing, he's still like he could. If I touch him wrong, then I would get shocked and die. Like
yeah, and he's got this like intimidating low grumble. It's sort of like the equivalent of when you see lightning, but it's like red or black, and it's like that's not right at all. That's scarier than lightning, and lightning's already scary.
That's exactly it.
But now it's like sound based, which is even cooler.
Yeah. All right. So, Steven, thumbs up, thumbs down, Sonic Drift 1.
I am thumbs down on Drift 1.
All right. I think I'm gonna be thumbs up.
Like
but
retroactively.
Yeah, it's like a 1 millimeter upward. You know, it's like imagine the world's shortest thumb. That's my thumb right now for Sonic Drift 1.
It's okay. You're just thumbs up. It's fine. It's okay to be thumbs up.
Well, because I think what it is, if you play, like, my experience, I played Sonic Drift 2, and I was like, this is great, I'm having fun. You can guess what my thumb is going to be, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
And then I go back and I play Sonic Drift 1, and I'm like, alright, this is definitely worse, but I understand it on a much better level than I did when I stopped playing it.
Yeah,
so
I had
was
more
able
fun.
to enjoy it more.
I had more fun when I learned the mechanics because 2 teaches you them better, like organically. Neither of the games have like an upfront tutorial. I think this was still the days when all that information was in a manual.
Yeah. Well, I think Sonic Drift 2 is like surprisingly very good at teaching you how to play it.
Yeah, easily. It teaches you how to play it super well.
Yeah. And Drift 1 mostly isn't. Which,
so now on to Drift 2, thumbs up, thumbs down.
On to 2. Obviously, all 3 of us are thumbs up, except for Charlie.
Yeah, all 3 of us except for Charlie.
All 3 of us except for
100% of 66% of us are thumbs up.
Yes.
So Charlie, what is it that like knocks your thumb over on this one specifically? Or I guess a better question might be, what could turn
That's a good visual.
What could turn that thumbs down upside down?
If it was 16-bit.
So like Sonic Drift 3 for the Sega Genesis, you'd be like thumbs up.
Sure.
If it had Mighty and Ray in it.
If it had,
I don't feel in control. Like I'm going through like I know it's like trying to simulate like you're actually driving, but I don't get the feeling, and I refuse to like believe it.
Yeah, I can understand the like bad.
It's like
the bad
playing
interpretation of.
Oh, I almost said LSD. An LCD game from McDonald's.
It's like dropping acid in a Sonic game. It's just not even working right. Things are blurring. I'm being pulled in different directions. Weird weasels
really
are flying
hard
past
to play the game. I can't tell what's happening. Actually, that's like pretty accurate.
Yeah, I get what you mean, Charlie. But do you agree with us that like Sonic Drift 2 is a very flavorful game?
It's much better than Sonic.
Okay, cool. Would you say it's the? What do you think is your least hated thumbs down game so far?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I guess
I don't remember what all I gave thumbs down for.
Yeah, I'd have to say that like probably my favorite of the games I've given a thumbs down was Chaos, because the real reason that we gave it a thumbs down, Isaiah and I think, is largely just because of the special stage mechanic for Sonic.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't feel like it suits the game very well, but I think that playing that game as Tails is fun enough that I would almost put it as a thumbs up. So I think that that's probably got to be my favorite that I've given a thumbs down so far.
I genuinely don't remember what I've thumbs downed and what I have not. Like, we've reached the point in the podcast where my short-term memory is going to become more and more evident because I can no longer keep track of, like, if you remember for Sonic 2 or whatever, I was like, what's been your favorite game so far, right? I can no longer ask that question because I no longer remember Sonic 2. So, you know, I'm kind of useless for that sort of retrospective unless I like go back and sort of play each game for a little bit to jog my memory.
Yeah, well, I think that the ones you gave a thumbs down that would probably be like contenders for this would be Chaos, like myself, and then the first Sonic, I think would be the two that are closest to being good games.
Yeah.
So you just gotta kind of pick between those two, I guess.
So I do want to say that I think Steven and I might be giving Sonic Drift 2 a thumbs up because we just finished playing Sonic Drift 1 when we started Drift 2. Like,
well, no, I'm giving it a thumbs up for like what it offers to a person who just really likes Sonic.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I think that the unique stages, like I said, I think that the bad controls are an effective enough vehicle for getting you to see the cool things. Like the Death Egg sequence is really fun, and the like throwing you off the wall and driving past the beach. Those are all cool experiences. And this game feels to me like kind of like being in a car, you know, in the smallest possible Sonic themed way. And then that, in addition to each character having like unique power and each character being there, like just seeing all the characters on the wheel, everything about this game for me, it has less to do with playing it and more to do just like what it offers to the player.
All right. I accept that. See, because I remember I played this game when I was a kid on Sonic something collection. It was Mega Collection, right, Charlie?
It's not on Mega. It's on Mega Collection Plus, but not regular Mega Collection.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I somehow played it.
Well, you had Gems Collection as well. It's probably Gems Collection.
Well, Gems Collection only has Drift 2.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking
talking
about. Drift 2. Well, because Drift 2 or Drift 1 never came to America. Drift 1 was Japan exclusive.
Was it?
Yeah, I think so.
We did not mention that at the beginning of the podcast, but it is true. Drift 2 is the only of the two that came to America and Europe, I believe.
I thought Drift 1 might have gone to Europe. I don't know. It's weird how these games get released sometimes.
According to Wikipedia, Drift 1 came to Japan and Drift 2 came to Japan, Europe, and North America, all on separate dates.
So the first Drift was, in fact, completely Japanese exclusive.
Yeah. But so, you know, I played this game as a kid, and I was like, this is lame, or whatever, and I didn't give it a thought. And part of that is, as a kid, 8-bit games were, like, bad to me, because I was, like...
It's funny hearing that come from you.
Time, right? Yeah.
Well, because my thing is always, like, judge a game by like, what it is and not what it was. So I'm constantly kind of, like, giving 8-bit games a really hard time if they aren't really well designed.
Well, and I, like, you know, as a kid, I was like, judge a game by how many hours I play it before getting bored, right?
Which is an interesting system, too.
Which is a bad system that I no longer have.
Yeah, Final Fantasy must have been great.
Oh, dude, I loved any game that I wasn't terrible at, which unfortunately was very few games at the time. I actually loved the Majora's Mask bit in the like Zelda collection for the GameCube. I loved that bit. I never was able to get to the part where I could save the game. So, you know,
that game is so good even before that part that you don't even need to.
It's really hard to appreciate having to replay it over and over, though.
I've played that probably 5 times, and I like it way more than like the beginning of Wind Waker, the beginning of Twilight Princess, or the beginning of Ocarina of Time.
It's definitely better than the beginning of Wind Waker, that's for sure.
Oh, hands down, because the beginning of Wind Waker lasts for like 12 hours.
Anyway, that's another conversation for another podcast.
I mean, Sonic games are also notorious for their bad, like, second stages.
That's true. But so, I think, like, my enjoyment of this game came in large part because I just got done playing Drift 1, and I was like, alright, this is so much better, wow, and I, like, was happier. So that might have clouded my judgment a little bit. If I had played this game in isolation, I might have a different opinion.
Yeah, I think that I did well enough for myself to sort of separate it from that, because like I said, I really don't think that what I like about these games has anything to do with the driving, or I mean the like actual controls. I think has nothing to do with what I like about these games, because I'm a huge fan of F-Zero, even down to the original. So I've just had that objectively better experience. I think that game, like the original F-Zero, plays better than Mario Kart and the Sonic Drift thing, and like any of the on-rails racing games at the time that were in arcades and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that, like, having that under my belt, I was coming to this not even looking for, like, an interesting gameplay.
You were like, this isn't going to be F-Zero, so it would be wrong of me to judge it by that scale.
Yeah, well, I just mean that, like, something better obviously exists already. But what this game does well is bring Sonic to that formula, I think.
Yeah, and I think it does a good job of that.
So Charlie, would you suggest that someone play Drift 2 even if it is a thumbs down for you?
I mean, if they want to play like an okay and I mean, Super Mario Kart's already a terrible game. So maybe I'd suggest it over that.
Yeah.
So here's where I'm at.
I would rather them play a lot of other Sonic games.
That's true. That's fair.
Here's where I'm at. This game, both of these games have a versus mode that we haven't tried, and I don't know if we could, strictly speaking.
Whoa,
because we're emulating.
Yeah, we could buy Game Gears.
Yeah, I don't know. But here's where I'm at is I think probably the versus mode is not going to be as fun as as your average given kart racing multiplayer game. But the single player experience is like probably above par in that regard.
I think that playing this game, I think this game is better like in terms of the flavor than Mario Kart.
Yeah.
So I think that
it's
like Mario Kart's draw would be the multiplayer.
Yeah, it's better. This game is better as a Sonic game than as a multiplayer game, and that's kind of why I feel like if you tried to play it as multiplayer, you would find yourself not having as good of a time.
Well, also I don't even know. What was that, Charlie?
Isn't that most Sonic games better Sonic games than multiplayer games?
Well, yeah.
Yes, very much so.
I don't know. Sonic Adventure 2 Battle had pretty good multiplayer.
Yeah, especially when it was playing the Chows and you just didn't touch your controller.
Yeah, that's good multiplayer.
Yeah, great multiplayer. Sorry.
All right.
But yeah, I think that's
anything else.
I think that's about it.
Is there anything else that we want to thumbs up, thumbs down?
So Charlie, thumbs up, thumbs down, Knack the Weasel.
Fang the Sniper.
I think we did it last time.
Thumbs up, thumbs down, Mecha Sonic versus Metal Sonic. Who would win?
Who would win in a thumbs up?
Thumbs up, thumbs down. Cars with eyes.
the thumbs up. I'm thumbs up on Cars with Eyes.
Alright.
I don't want them on the windshield though. That's the worst.
Oh no. Yeah, don't put them on the windshield.
Put those in the headlights, please.
Wouldn't that be terrible if that was like an entire movie?
Yeah, dude. I can't. And like Owen Wilson was in it.
Wow.
Exactly.
Ka-chow.
Can you imagine if they made 2 sequels to that film?
Can you imagine if there was a game based on that movie that was like actually playable?
Can you imagine them making a spin-off but with planes?
Can you imagine that spin-off having Dane Cook as the lead voice actor? What a world.
All right, we gotta end this podcast right the heck now.
What was his name? Rusty Clodhopper?
Rusty. It was definitely Rusty something.
It was Dusty Crop Hopper.
It was Dusty Crop Hopper.
Yeah, because he's a crop dusting plane.
Yeah, because no, he was a race plane in the first film.
Dusty Clodhopper.
He wanted to be a race plane.
He wanted to be a race. Okay, so here's how it goes.
What was his name? Musty Gobstopper?
His name was Everlasting Gobstopper. So he was a crop
Busty Top Dropper? What was it?
A race plane. So he became a race plane, and in the second movie, he was like, "Oh no, I'm a race plane," and he breaks, and then he becomes a rescue plane because he can no longer be a race plane.
Was his name Krusty Sock'em Bopper?
All right, I'm exiting. I'm stopping recording. This
Oh,
is
we
the
have
end of
to
the
do the
podcast.
plug.
You can check us out on Twitter at nospin-zone,
that's right.
and you can send us an email at nospin-zone@gmail.com. We'd love your emails. If you send an email, it will get read, unless it's objectionable content.
Yeah. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/nospin-zone. I am the podcast. No,
hey, Isaiah, you need a question.
Oh, jeez. How did I forget the question? Question, how did I forget? No, not that one. Screw that. I don't know. Now I'm feeling a lot of pressure to come up with a question. You got. All right, help me out. What's a question that we should ask?
Charlie, would you like to take the question for this week?
Take the question wheel.
Let's see. Where do you want the eyes on a car to be?
Where? Headlights or windshield, where do you want the car to be? Also,
okay,
so
I like that.
I have a question, and it's a Sonic 3 question. It's not a Sonic Drift question, but here we are. I don't think I asked it in Sonic 3, and if I did, cut it out, I guess. Like, cut out this question, I don't care. Metal Sonic or Mecha Sonic?
We can do a double question super feature if you want.
Double question, put it on one poll.
No, you only get 4 spots. I need all those spots.
Yeah. But yeah, Metal Sonic or Mecha Sonic? Who would win? Who do you like the most?
I'm gonna throw Silver Sonic in there too.
Oh yeah. Don't throw actual Sonic in there because that's just he just.
Let me throw in what is a hedgehog. That one always goes over well with the audience.
That one always becomes the most voted question, the most voted answer.
It's great because it sounds really memey, but in the original context, it kind of made sense.
Yeah.
Anyway,
All right.
thanks for watching or listening or whatever.
Follow me on Twitter. All right, you know what? Screw it. Don't follow me on Twitter. I'm not plugging me today. You can, if you want to find my Twitter, you can deal with it.
Check out Blast Labs. I think our Twitter, follows both you and Charlie's Twitter. So if people are really having a hard time finding it, they can just look at that.
Yeah.
But
you guys will figure it out. You're smart.
Also, hopefully I will, by the time this is up, have a video-only piece of content on the channel that's separate from the podcast. That I think what I want to do is have a series of videos where I sort of review the backgrounds of different Sonic games.
Ooh, yeah. That would be cool.
So that potentially that'll be up by now, considering we record in advance. But I just wanted to have something on our channel on YouTube.
On our YouTube channel, yeah.
That makes sense for the format. So check that out.
All right. YouTube.com/
no spin
dash zone. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I think we're the first thing that shows up if you search No Spin Dash Zone, which is nice.
Oh, I certainly hope so. I'm pretty sure. That wasn't true for the first couple of weeks, but I'm pretty sure it is now. Or the first couple things.
If you got anything to say now, Charlie, do it.
Eat ass.
See you guys later.
Charlie, I told you, no political podcasting. We'd like to thank the LAG Network for making our episodes available on platforms like iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, Stitcher, and lots more. If you're listening on YouTube and you'd like to keep up with our episodes on one of these audio platforms, just search for the LAG Radio Network and follow their feed.